Figuring out whether to hire internally or externally for marketing is one of the hardest decisions most companies have, and usually one that we hear quite often. And the reason why is because companies are always searching for that unicorn. Not the fun little horn that my kids love. No, I mean the unicorn, the person that can actually do 15 jobs at once. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you been in that position? I know I have. Well, a lot of companies, especially ones we talk to, are always looking for the person, especially internally, that can do the strategy, that can post, that can design, that can write the copy, that can do customer service, that can do email marketing, and can be analytical. Does that seem fair? Well, I don't truly believe so, but that's just my opinion. But after talking to so many of our partners, they took years to get to the point of wanting to hire an external agency because they realized that unicorn is actually multiple people. And that's why hiring an agency is so beneficial to brands because we have so many different types of people on our staff at the same cost you would be paying one internal person to get the same job done. Instead, you're able to actually delegate to an agency and go, hey, here's our social media. What can you do? What agencies, especially at Brehm Media, what we do is we actually sit down and we create a strategy and go over it. Not that like foo-foo strategy that's like, here's this. It's all about creating like what your brand story is, what your mission, vision, why, all of that. And then working backwards. What goals do you want to achieve and how can we achieve those? So then you take it and you put it into this strategy on how the tactics can actually make that work, right? Yes, an internal person can do that, but that's usually one person, one mindset that can create a strategy. Then you have to hand that off to someone that actually understands how to implement, right? So the way we work is our directors create a strategy because they are so mindful and understanding what is working and not working on social and in marketing in general to be able to make sure that brand is successful. The huge thing here is that handoff. Well, internally, yes, you have this one person, and then you expect that person that just made the strategy to go, okay, switch on, I have to do all these tactical things. Most people don't have a strategic and tactical mind put together. That doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means it's very hard. Psst, that unicorn, right? That we're all looking for. Well, here's the thing. Externally, you have the agency that has that team that can hand it off, usually to a social media manager, that in return can create that content and use a graphic artist, right, to actually create those design elements instead of trying to hope that that unicorn internally can not only create the content, write that copy, but also create the graphics. So then you're sitting there going, okay, they need to have design, they need to know Adobe or even understand Canva, right? If it's that piece of it. Well, instead, you're hiring someone for $54,000 to upwards to $150,000 because that is where we're in for marketing these days. And you're trying to find that person that can do all of it. And the people that are $150,000 and above are managers. They're not doing that tactical work. They're overseeing. So really what they want to do is actually work with the external agency and or someone internal to do that tactics. So then you're doubling your salary. But when you work with an external agency, you're paying that flat fee, whether that's a retainer each month or however agencies work. We just do it on retainer base, depending on how many social platforms and how much we do for you, right? But ultimately, what you're looking at is actually having one set price. A lot of people, when they come to an agency, are like, oh my gosh, I can't pay that much. Well, 30 to 40% of your profit should be put to your marketing, right? Yes, the way some people allocate their funds and their profits are much different. But marketing right now should be about 30% of your profits. So when you're thinking about that, how you can allocate, could you have a whole team working and making sure that they're getting all of these things done for you? Or do you want to just spend a teensy bit with one person that may get you results, but also may not because they're so set in one area? They're either set in that strategy, they're either set in the tactics, but maybe they don't understand the analytics. Maybe you don't even have the tools to figure out what analytics you need. That person is supposed to be able to get all of those things put together, when in reality, the agency has that at our fingertips. We have the ability to have the analytics, have the tools, set you up for all of those things, and have 3 to 5 people working on your own company to make you successful, right? And actually establishing, how can we get your revenue up? How can we get your followers up? What's your actual KPI goal to make sure that you're hitting it on social, instead of going, well, social media doesn't work because this internal person was only focused on one thing or one part of their job. That's the biggest thing here, is not to focus on one piece of a job, but to focus on the whole piece. So instead of looking for that unicorn internally, look to an external agency that actually encompasses all of that for you in your hiring process.